This is Bergstrom's State Line Quiz Bowl. Now from the Collins Aerospace Studio at the Nordloff Center in downtown Rockford, here's your host, Eric Wilson.
Welcome to a very special Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. Oh, this is going to be an exciting game. Most of our regular season is finished. We only have 2 games left. We thought we'd take a break and actually continue a tradition that we started last year. So we've had 8 of our top teams each send us a player for this week's All-Star game. And so when you think of who's competing here, expect a lot of points put up on the board because we're going to get a lot of correct answers. Right, contestants?
Hopefully.
Woo, we've got a few woos, okay? And to be honest, the audience, we have a pretty big audience here today, and the audience is relatively quiet. So I hope that you and your answers will liven them up a little bit. Let's meet our teams. First of all, and let's be clear, our team members were allowed to come up with their own names. So first, let's say hello to Team Nerds. There's the studio audience. Let's start on the end and work your way down. Just introduce us, tell us your school, and we'll start with Mike.
I'm Mike from Marengo Community High School.
I'm David from Belvedere High School.
I'm Joel. I'm from Byron.
I'm Ryan from Pecatonica High School.
Welcome, Team Nerds. Competing against who else but Team Geeks? Again. These 2 teams came up with their own names and the creative spellings. There's nothing wrong with your television. Those names are the way that they're supposed to be spelled. Let's say hello to Team Geeks, starting with Scotty on the end.
I'm Scotty from Belvedere North.
Hi, I'm Grant. I'm from Hononegah Community High School.
Hi, I'm Alex from Freeport High School.
I'm Logan from Christian Life High School.
It's so much fun to see all these familiar faces from our regular tournament, normally rivals in a regular Quiz Bowl season, now playing together. This is going to be fun. All right, rules are all the same, contestants, so grab your buzzers and we will start our buzz-in round with this question. Remember, when you buzz in, you're on your own. The 2 most important rules: wait for me to call your name and say your answer loudly and clearly. Here we go. What Pitch Perfect actor won a Tony, an Emmy, and a Grammy for his role as the title character in Dear Evan Hansen? Alex.
Ben Platt.
That is correct. My daughter is yelling at the TV for that answer. Very good, and you've got the first points of the game. The lawyer Mr. Jaggers arranges for an anonymous benefactor to pay for the education of an orphaned boy called Pip in what novel by Charles Dickens? David.
Great Expectations.
That is correct, and our teams are matched question for question. Here's a new one. What disease is prevented along with diphtheria and pertussis by the DPT vaccine? Was once nicknamed lockjaw and can infect Logan.
Tetanus.
That's correct. Can infect puncture wounds. It's the T in that DPT. What company, which claimed its Edison machines only needed Scotty?
Theranos.
That's right. You didn't even need the full length of that question. There's actually a Hulu series now called The Dropout about Elizabeth Holmes, who's in trouble for all of her involvement in that. Here's a new question, teams. What general employed foragers called bummers and offered a city as a Christmas gift to Abraham Lincoln during a march to the sea through Georgia? David.
Sherman.
That's right. That city was Savannah, Georgia. Team Nerds, you get that one correct. What Japanese author who committed seppuku after a 1970 coup attempt wrote The Temple of the Golden Pavilion and the Sea of Fertility tetralogy? Tough literature question, and first no answer of the game, Yukio Mishima. What war during which the 7 Why We Fight films were made is the setting of The Thin Red Line, The Great Escape, and Schindler's List? Grant.
World War II.
That is correct. Schindler's List probably helped there as right at the end there, and you have those points. The first 4 leaders of Islam after Muhammad were known as the Rashidun, or rightly guided holders of what title? Grant.
Caliph.
Yes, that is correct, and you get those points. What body of water, the native home of the Umul salmon, receives the Selenga River, is the deepest lake in the world? David.
Baikal.
Yes, and is in eastern Siberia. You didn't even need that clue. The 2019 album Wild Card is by what country singer who, like Angelina Presley and Ashley Monroe, is a member of the group Pistol Annies? Some of her biggest hits are The House That Built Me, Heart Like Mine, Over You, Miranda Lambert. What man who served as governor of the Bahamas during World War II was made the Duke of Windsor? Alex.
Edward VIII.
That is correct, after abdicating because he wanted to marry American Wallace Simpson. Team Geeks gets those points. What reaction between amino acids and sugars, named for a French chemist, is responsible for the browning of seared meat and other foods? Grant.
Maillard reaction?
That is correct. We know that my uncle made those hockey puck hamburgers. It actually had a chemistry name to it. Team Geeks gets those points. What 1991 play opens with Rabbi Chemelvitz delivering a speech at a funeral attended by Louis Ironson and his boyfriend, Prior Walter? Rockford's Joe Mantello was actually nominated for a Tony Award for playing Louis on Broadway in Angels in America. Two P's are used to indicate what musical dynamic marking? Alex.
Pianissimo.
That is correct. And that's the last question in the round. We're out of time. I told you points were going to add up very, very quickly. We've got 80 points for Team Geeks and 30 points for Team Nerds with a lot of game left to play, right? Our volleyball round is the next round, and it's up after this break. We are one round into our Season 8 All-Star game here on Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. Team Geeks is ahead. They have 80 points. Team Nerds has 30. Our volleyball round is next, but first, a very special thank you. An All-Star game requires an All-Star judge, right? Judge Rosemary Collins came out of retirement again for us to be our judge today for Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. Thank you for being here for us today. And let's get into the volleyball round, gang, shall we? Because of the coin flip, our first question goes to Team Geeks. And captains, remember, I need to hear the answers from you. So the teams have elected Grant and Joel as their respective captains. Grant, here is your first question in volleyball this week. Remember, you can work as a team. Rick Riordan's Percy Jackson wields a magic sword named Riptide, which is usually disguised as what type of small everyday object?
Pen.
You seem like you were all in agreement with that one. That is correct. Question now for Team Nerds. What alias assumed by teen girl Carrie Kelly in The Dark Knight Returns was held by Dick Grayson, who serves as a sidekick to Batman?
Robin?
Yes, that was another quick answer for Team Nerds, and we're back over to Team Geeks. Thin layer chromatography uses what phenomenon in which a liquid is drawn upward through a narrow space against the pull of gravity?
Capillary action.
A lot of head nods on that one as well, and you get that question correct. Over to Team Nerds. What type of reaction releases energy for products up to iron 56, occurs in the second stage of a hydrogen bomb blast, and is contrasted with fission?
Fusion.
Yes, the opposite of fusion. You get those points. Back to Team Geeks. Nord Stream, which has been targeted by U.S. sanctions, is a system of what structures between Russia and Germany passing through the Baltic?
Pipelines.
Yes. Question for question, our teams match each other. We're back over to Team Nerds. What man adopted the plan of Tuxtepec and overthrew the government of Sebastián Lerdo, then ruled from 1876 to 1911 as a dictator in Mexico?
Is it like Juarez?
Incorrect. That was kind of a tough one. Diaz. Porfirio Diaz. First no answer there. We're back to Team Geeks. The Rye House plot targeted what king who came to power in the Restoration 11 years after the execution of his father?
Charles II.
Yes. Again, seems like that was a group effort. I heard that come from Alex. I'm going to give you credit for that one, Alex. We're back over to Team Geeks. What author of the unfinished novel Sanditon used the pen name A Lady for a novel about the dissimilar Dashwood sisters titled Sense and Sensibility?
Jane Austen? Yeah. Jane Austen?
Another group effort. Yes, that's correct, and you got those points. Back to Team Geeks. During the Ming Dynasty, the city of Jingdezhen became the center of production for what white ceramic material, often called china?
Yeah.
Porcelain.
Yes, we all know it more as china. Porcelain is correct. Those points are yours. Back to Nerds. In September 2020, what city, which is led by Greg Fisher, agreed to pay $12 million to the family of Breonna Taylor, who was killed by police?
Detroit.
Incorrect. Louisville, Kentucky. That current events question got you. We're back to Team Geeks. Felix Baumgartner's 2012 jump began in what atmospheric layer in which commercial aircraft often cruise to avoid turbulence in the troposphere below?
Stratosphere.
That is correct. Pilot Scotty, you had to contribute on that one, right? We'll give you credit for those points. Those are your 10, and that's how we end the round. We're out of time. So Team Geeks expands to the score a little bit, up to 140. Team Nerds also added to their score. They are at 60. Halfway through our game, we'll be back with more right after this break. Normally here we do the Berkshire bonus question, but we thought we would spend this time getting to know some of our players. And your coaches have given us some interesting tidbits about many of you. First of all, on Team Nerds, I want to say hello to Mike from Marengo. Mike, fun fact, first of all, you grew up wanting to be an astronaut. Is that correct?
It is, yes.
Is that still a goal of yours?
Not anymore. I'm too tall, so I settled for aerospace engineering.
Man. And
That's
so
relatable.
were you short all your life and hoped you would grow, and then eventually you just went past that? What was it, like 6 feet sort of for astronaut size?
It's whatever average height is these days. I don't know. But no, I was always tall.
So now you're just going to build the rockets that the astronauts fly on,
Yeah,
basically.
next
Okay.
best thing.
And I was also told that at a very young age you learned Mandarin. Is that correct?
Attempted to learn.
Yeah, attempted. Did you retain any of it?
No.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, well, I won't ask you to say hands on your buzzers then in Mandarin. That might be asking for a lot. And Ryan from Pecatonica, I understand that you are Peck's resident apiarist. Do you keep track of the FFA beehives there at school?
Yep, that's correct.
How many times have you been stung?
Over my life, probably less than a dozen times, maybe 6 to 8.
Less than a dozen times. So some people make it their whole lives without one. Buzz-in has to be your favorite round, right?
Oh, by far.
No, of course. Nice. Thank you for being here and for being great sports. Team Geeks, first of all, I want to say hello to Alex, who I understand that, Alex, you're a believer. Is that correct?
No.
Your favorite song is Baby by Justin Bieber. Is that not correct? Okay.
Laird came up with that one.
Who came up with that?
My coach came
Your
up
coach.
with that one.
So you're not a just Justin Bieber fan?
No.
Oh, so this wasted television time is all your coach's fault.
Yeah.
Who do you like? What's your favorite music? What do you like to do?
I don't really have a specific band that I listen to. I just kind of listen to whatever sounds fun.
Oh, man. Well, maybe you can listen to Mike sing something in Mandarin. That could be fun.
It's going to be nonsense. and
Hard
you know what?
pass.
Good for him.
To be honest, hard pass from all of us over here, right?
Yeah.
And Logan, I feel like you have grown 6 inches since the last time we saw you. Maybe. And
Maybe it's just the
Logan,
fact
hold
that
up
he's
your
standing
hand.
next to me.
Logan's on injured reserve today. He's playing hurt. So it's the buzz in hand, but you've been doing pretty well, I think, today so far. You've done some plays actually here at Nordlof Center,
Yes.
correct? What have you been in? What have you appeared in?
So, in 2019, I was in Oliver, and this past September, I was in Peter Pan Jr.
So this is in a comfortable space for you, right? Well, we like to showcase, we like to meet our players because otherwise, you know them by name maybe, but it's a fun way for people to get to know some of the things that you do outside of just being smart, because you're all up here because you're smart, right? All right, let's take another break and come back with our lightning round to show off their smarts. Lots of points on the line. We'll be right back. After our little get-to-know-me round, now it's time to get back to getting to know some points. In our NECA IBEW lightning round, a lot of points are on the line. Team Geeks has 140 right now. Team Nerds has 60. But you've all played this game long enough. You know if you run one of these categories, your score will jump by 100 points. Sometimes it's easier to do than others. Because of the flip, Nerds, you get the first. It sounds so bad saying that. Team Nerds, and they picked the name. I want to be on the record with that multiple times. Okay, Team Nerds, you get first pick this week. Joel, the categories are Isaac Newton, female athletes, or Greek letters.
I'm thinking either Newton or letters. Want to go with letters? Letters?
I'm not really sure. I know some math letters. Or athletes too.
I'd say we can do letters because we all know science uses a lot there. Greek letters.
You got it. There was a lot of debate on that. Landed on Greek letters. We'll see how that pays off. Name these things represented by or that share their names with Greek letters. So I'll be clear probably after you hear the first question. You'll have 60 seconds to get through these 10, and then Scotty, you and your team will have 30 seconds to clean up what they don't. And advice to both teams, you can pass. Joel, are you ready for the first one?
Good. Yep.
Name these things represented by or that share their names with Greek letters. The triangular mouth of the Nile.
Delta. Delta.
Correct. A transcendental number equal to about 3.14.
Pi. Pi.
Correct. An LGBTQ literary award.
Pass.
The mathematical symbol for summation.
Sigma.
Correct. The shortest electromagnetic waves.
Gamma.
Gamma.
Correct. Term for the most powerful type of mutants in X-Men comics.
Omega.
Correct. Coefficient representing a stock's volatility.
Beta.
Correct. Symbol for the golden ratio.
It's a fire tower. Phi.
Correct. Highest ranking member of a group of animals.
Alpha.
Correct. A statistic that is squared to test frequency distributions.
Chi.
Correct. An LGBTQ literary award.
Sigma.
Incorrect. There's a little bit of time left, not much, but that's the category. No more questions. 90 points added to your score. Very nearly ran that category. Nice job. Scotty, you and the team have 30 seconds. You can answer right away if you want. You can take all 30 to deliberate. I know I'm buying you some time right now with the explanation. Here we go. Name these things represented by or that share their names with Greek letters. The only one left. An LGBTQ literary award.
Epsilon?
Incorrect. It's lambda. That's a good guess. Now we move on to our last two categories, and Scotty gets to pick between those. If you remember, they are Isaac Newton and female athletes.
Isaac Newton.
All right, he is yours. Answer the following about Isaac Newton. Same rules apply as applied to Joel and the team. 60 seconds is on the clock. Here comes your first one. Answer the following about Isaac Newton. He developed 3 laws of this concept.
Motion.
Correct. His alma mater, Oxford's rival.
Cambridge.
Correct. The device whose first practical reflecting form he built.
Mirror. Telescope.
Correct. Legendarily, this fruit led him to discover gravity.
Apple.
Correct. He wrote on this science of light.
Pass.
He feuded with this man whose namesake law describes springs.
Hook.
Correct. Name given to his most productive year, 1666.
Pass.
Pandemic that struck England in Newton's college years.
Pass.
This German and Newton are credited with inventing calculus.
Pass.
He was master of this agency that produced British coins. No time to answer there. The buzzer got you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you added 50 to your score. You are now at 190. They are within striking distance. Team Nerds, you have 5 left on the board. 30 seconds to answer them. Are you ready for the first one, Joel?
Yes.
Answer the following about Isaac Newton. He wrote on this science of light.
Optics.
That's correct. Name given to his most productive year, 1666.
Golden year.
Incorrect. Pandemic that struck England in Newton's college years.
The Great Plague.
Incorrect. This German and Newton are credited with inventing calculus.
Riemann.
Incorrect. He was master of this agency that produced British coins.
The Mint.
That's correct.
Okay.
And nothing else to go back to. So you're up to 170 now. Ooh, one question between our two teams. These are the 3 no one got. The name given to his most productive year, 1666, was the Year of Wonders. The answer about the pandemic that struck, you gave too much information. If you had just said plague, I could have taken it. If you said bubonic plague, I could have taken that. But because you said Great Plague, I could not take that answer. And this German and Newton credited with inventing calculus is Leibniz, Gottfried Wilhelm von Leibniz. All right, so we go into the Mercy Health Final Challenge with a very tight game. It's only 20 points between our two teams. Team Geeks has 190, Team Nerds has 170, and we'll have that final challenge after this break. One round left to play in our All-Star game. We knew it was going to be close. Team Geeks has 190, Team Nerds has 170 after a pretty solid lightning round from both of our teams. Our Mercy Health Final Challenge, though, the questions are each worth 20 points, so our swing right now is basically one question. So make sure you give your answer loudly and clearly and wait for me to call your name. Here we go in our Mercy Health Final Challenge. Hands on your buzzers. Good luck, teams. The two intersections of the celestial equator and the ecliptic mark what events that occur once in the spring? Grant.
Equinox?
Yes, and once in the autumn. You get the first points of the round. What presence whose descent is celebrated on Pentecost? Mike.
Jesus.
Incorrect. I will finish for Team Geeks. Go ahead, Logan.
The Holy Spirit.
That's right, often represented as a dove as part of the Trinity with the Father and the Son. Team Geeks gets those 10, or gets those 20. Hans Frank led the Nazi occupation of what country, where in 1940, thousands of officers, Joel.
Poland?
Yes, killed by Soviet forces in the Katyn massacre. Your points. What poem in which Archimago creates a duplicate of Una to seduce the Red Cross Knight is an Elizabethan epic by Edmund Spenser named for a monarch? David.
Victoria.
Incorrect. Team Geeks, you could take these points. Go ahead, Grant.
Elizabeth.
Incorrect. The monarch is a queen, but a fictional queen, the fairy queen. What athlete who was defaulted from the 2020 U.S. Open for hitting a line judge with a ball is a top-rated Serbian tennis player nicknamed David?
Roger Federer.
Incorrect. I'll finish for Geeks. Nicknamed Joker. Scotty.
Djokovic.
That is correct. Novak Djokovic. What novel in which the Huron Magua is revealed to be working with the French is the second book to feature Natty Bumppo by James Fenimore Cooper? David.
The Last of the Mohicans.
That is correct. What food product is formed when the bacterium A. aceti Joel.
Yogurt.
Incorrect. I will finish for Team Geeks. Performs fermentation on the alcohol in wine or cider? Grant.
Kombucha?
Incorrect. It's often mixed with oil in salad dressing. Vinegar. What desert, which lends its name to a territory that contains Layun, is home to the Tuareg people, is north of the Sahel? Scotty.
Sahara.
Yes, and is Africa's largest, also the world's largest non-polar desert. Two captains regent are the heads of state of what most serene republic, a microstate surrounded by Italy? Logan.
The Vatican.
Incorrect. Go ahead, David.
San Marino.
That is right. Roughly halfway between Venice and Rome. You get those 20 points. Supersaturated solutions readily undergo what process? A phase change in the solute that forms a solid that then, Mike.
Precipitation.
Yes, that then falls out of the solution. What country, home to the 12-member Guardian Council and the Majlis legislature, is led by Hassan Rouhani and the Supreme Leader, Scotty?
Iran.
That's correct, Ali Khamenei. And that long buzzer means the game is over. You may notice when the audience applauds so immediately once that final buzzer sounds, they were into the game and they were really excited about it. We're so glad that you came here. We know that it's not easy to come from all of your 8 separate schools, and I hope you had a good time. Hope you had fun. We normally do this in a regular season game, a senior send-off. How many of you are seniors? So most of us, except for Alex and Logan, we hope to see you again soon, right? Maybe the next All-Star game, maybe the next regular season game. And we hope to see you next week when we begin our consolation round, find out who ends up in 3rd place in Season 8 of Bergstrom State Line Quiz Bowl. We'll see you then.